Some people buy luxury cars to show off. Me, I bought mine to survive. After years of grinding, I finally treated myself to one thing I swore I'd own before I died. A custom matte black McLaren. That car wasn't just metal and paint. It was my therapy, my peace, my trophy. And in my head, the quiet, overpriced neighborhood I moved into would be the perfect place to enjoy it. Calm streets, gated community, and people who seemed more interested in their lawns than in me. Or so I thought, because the truth is, peace doesn't last long when you park a dream car in front of people who are miserable with their own lives. The villain of this story wasn't your usual nosy neighbor. It wasn't a bored Karen with too much time on her hands. No, this time it was Randall, a self-proclaimed HOA cop, not an actual officer, not even on the HOA board. Just some wannabe enforcer with a badge he printed from the internet and a neon vest that screamed midlife crisis. It started with a letter on my windshield. Not a polite one. This was pure Randall-certified lunacy. Scribbled in angry handwriting. Your car is a threat to our community. It is far too fast, intimidating to children, and violates the spirit of peaceful living. You have 2 weeks to remove it before further action is taken. I laughed. Oh, I really did. I snapped a picture and added it to my HOA clowns folder on my phone. Surely he couldn't be serious. I wasn't speeding. The HOA handbook said nothing about banning specific vehicles. Plus, if anyone was dangerous, it was Randall, constantly blasting down the street in his beat-up Dodge Charger while yelling at kids to respect the rules. Day 15 rolled around. Coffee in hand, sunshine overhead, I stepped outside ready to enjoy the morning and froze. My McLaren was wrecked, not scratched. Not dinged, wrecked, windows smashed, tires slashed, paint stripped down like someone had gone at it with sandpaper. The whole car looked like it had been through a riot. My neighbor Denise walked up wide-eyed, whispering, "I saw Randall out here with the landscaping guy last night. They were messing with your car. I thought it was weird." Weird? That was criminal. But instead of exploding, I smiled. Why? Because Randall had no clue I had a security camera built right into my porch light. I walked back inside, pulled up the footage, and there he was. Randall in all his fake authority glory, hammer in hand, ranting about neighborhood safety while destroying my McLaren like a man possessed. That was the moment I picked up my phone and called my lawyer. Randall thought he could bully me into giving up my car. Congratulations, Randall. You just upgraded me to a brand new McLaren on your dime. When I sent the video to my lawyer, his first reaction was priceless. This guy thinks he's what? An HOA cop? He actually laughed, then told me to forward everything to the police. Property damage wasn't a small matter, especially when the bill for repairs would easily climb into 6 figures. But Randall didn't sit quietly. No, he doubled down. The next morning, there it was. That annoying knock on my door. The kind of knock only a wannabe authority figure makes. I opened it to find Randall standing there. Neon vest, cheap sunglasses, clipboard in hand like he was auditioning for Mall Cop of the Year. "You've ignored official HOA directives," he barked, jabbing a finger at me. "Your car endangered this neighborhood. I have the right to enforce action. Consider yourself fined." I almost choked on my coffee. Fined by who? The HOA handbook doesn't even mention cars like mine. And last I checked, you're not law enforcement. His jaw tightened. I am law enforcement for this community. If you don't like it, leave. That's when I decided to poke the bear. "Funny," I said, "because I've got video proof of you committing felony vandalism. So unless you're planning on enforcing that on yourself, I'd suggest you back off." His face drained of color for a split second before he stormed off, muttering something about calling the board. 2 hours later, I was sitting in an emergency HOA meeting. Randall had dragged the entire board into this circus. Sitting at the head of the table was the president, a woman named Marka, and I knew this was about to get good. Marker, the HOA president, tried to smooth things over. Let's be reasonable. Randall was acting in the community's best interest. Maybe the damage was excessive? I cut her off immediately. No, there's no maybe about it. He destroyed private property and you're defending him? And one of the quieter board members cleared his throat and spoke up. Technically, Randall doesn't even serve on the board. He volunteers. That word almost made me laugh out loud. So not only had this clown destroyed my $250,000 McLaren, but the HOA had never even authorized him to act in any official capacity. That was it. I decided on two things right then and there. 1, I'd let the police handle Randall. 2, I'd let my lawyer handle the HOA for defending him. When the cops finally showed up later that week, after reviewing the security footage I'd submitted, they didn't hesitate. Randall was cuffed right there in my driveway, sputtering about being framed, while the neighborhood kids pointed and laughed from their bikes. And if you think that was the end, oh no. Randall's nightmare was just getting started. My McLaren wasn't just scratched, it was totaled. A man who thought he could play dress-up cop and hide behind HOA excuses needed a permanent reminder that actions have consequences. So my lawyer filed charges. Vandalism, impersonating an officer, and criminal mischief. The impersonation charge alone was serious, especially since Randall strutted around in that fake badge and neon vest like he was auditioning for cops. HOA edition. When the case hit court, the footage spoke louder than any words ever could. There he was, in full wannabe authority mode, slamming his boot into my car and declaring it illegal. The judge leaned back in his chair, pinched the bridge of his nose and said flatly, "Sir, not only were you not authorized by this HOA, but you destroyed property worth more than most people's homes. You're looking at prison time." Randall's attorney tried to spin some excuse, but the HOA board didn't even show up to defend him. In fact, by the end of the trial, the HOA itself was facing its own reckoning. Homeowners discovered that the board had knowingly allowed Randall to parade around as their enforcer without any official authority. Within weeks, a petition went around, signatures piled up, and the entire board was dissolved. As for Randall, he didn't just get convicted, he got wiped out. The court ordered him to pay restitution for the car, damages for impersonating authority, and my legal fees. He lost his job, his credibility, and eventually even his house. By the time the dust settled, my brand new McLaren sat gleaming in my driveway, while Randall shuffled past in a faded hoodie, avoiding eye contact, forced to live in a rental across town. Every time neighbors drove by, they'd smirk and say, "Careful, Randall might write you a ticket." I didn't have to lift a finger after that. His reputation was destroyed. The HOA was gone. And my story became the neighborhood's favorite cautionary tale. One evening, I stood on my porch sipping coffee, watching the sun set behind my car. You can dress like a cop, act like a cop, even yell like a cop. But if you pick a fight with someone ready to fight back, you'll regret it instantly. Randall sure did. He thought a fake badge and neon vest made him untouchable. Turns out all it made him was unforgettable, for all the wrong reasons. So I'll leave it to you. Was justice served, or did Randall get off easy? If someone destroyed your car, would you press charges or handle it another way? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I want to hear how you would have handled Randall.